So let's start. Hi everyone, thanks for being on time and joining today's live. I will be your host for today's live. My name is Lindsay Kebirungi. I am the Mission Ambassador SDG 5 Gender Equality for the Model Peace Forum, which is an organization that enhances youth voices and their humanitarian actions. So today we are going to be talking about period poverty and everything it entails. So period poverty describes the struggle many women and girls face trying to afford menstrual products, and it also refers to the increasing financial vulnerability these girls and women face due to the financial burden posed by these menstrual supplies. So these menstrual supplies not only include menstrual products like pads and tampons, but they also include cost-related items, like pain medications and underwear. And a lot of times when people talk about menstruation, they usually focus on the products like sanitary towels, commonly known as pads and tampons, and they leave out these basic items that a lot of girls need during their period, like pain medication. Most of us go through period cramps or premenstrual syndrome, PMS, and also underwear. Like, all these are very necessary items that are often forgotten during the conversations held in regards to menstruation. So I think that's very key to note. And also, when one is trying to understand period poverty, they need to ask themselves a number of questions, like how is menstruation related to human rights? So human rights are the rights every individual has by virtue of his or her human dignity. And when a person doesn't have safe access to bathing facilities, or when they do not have access to safe and effective means of managing their menstrual hygiene, they're not able to manage their menstruation with dignity. And this brings along other factors like menstruation, teasing, exclusion, and shame, which also undermine the basic principle of human dignity. So, when someone is not taking care of their menstrual hygiene, they are prone to be excluded, to be shamed, and to be teased. And these undermine the basic principles of human dignity. There are a lot of factors that affect how people are treated during menstruation. And one of these is the misconception that menstruation is dirty and shameful. And this has contributed to a lot of restrictions women and girls face during their menstruation. Most of these restrictions are cultural. For example, prohibitions on handling food, and then we have restrictions on entering certain religious spaces, and then even the requirement that girls and women should isolate themselves while on their period. So this basically breeds inequality, as it reinforces the idea that women and girls have less claim to public spaces and they're less able to participate in public life. Another factor that affects how girls are treated during the menstruation is a lot of people believe that menstruation is an indication that girls are ready for sexual activity and marriage. And this basically leaves girls vulnerable to a host of abuses, including child marriage and sexual violence. And we need to put this into perspective, because a lot of girls start their period between the ages of 10 and 16. And this varies between different people, but in certain cases we have girls starting their periods early, between the ages of 7 and 8. And although menstruation indicates that a girl is biologically fertile, it does not necessitate that they are emotionally, mentally, physically, or psychologically mature enough to be engaging in these sexual activities. And then that also brings me to think, a lot of impoverished girls are participating in transactional sex because they cannot afford these menstrual products. And this basically inherently undermines their human dignity, you know. So we need to ask ourselves another question. You know, there's several questions we need to ask ourselves as we're understanding period poverty. And another is, what happens when menstruation cannot be managed properly? So when there's lack of access to the right menstrual products, this can lead to greater risks of infection. For example, girls in locations with high humidity, as they wash their reusable pads, these pads do not dry thoroughly. And this breeds infections. This leads to infections, you know, because they're using fabrics that do not necessarily absorb the blood properly. So while they wash, and because of the high humidity, they don't get to dry and they're susceptible to more infections. Also, in some cases, women and girls don't have access to menstrual products at all. And because of this, they may resort to rugs, they may use leaves, they may use newspapers, and any other makeshift products, any other makeshift items that can absorb menstrual blood. And like I said earlier, some of these fabrics can breed infections. And also, they are prone to leaks. These girls are prone to leaks because these fabrics are not very adequate, not very efficient to be used during menstruation. So these leaks can lead to embarrassment or shame, and this brings menstruation as a taboo topic, as girls are taking it it's shameful, so I can't exactly reach out for help and whatnot. Another question we need to ask ourselves is, what do people need? What do these girls need to manage their menstruation? What do they need to be able to freely and healthily go through this menstruation process? So firstly, they need to be educated on how to take care of themselves, what menstruation is, what they need to expect. And over the years, these are conversations that have been happening in schools and environments of this sort. However, they need these conversations need to be improved to a certain extent. We have conversations revolving around pregnancy and reproductive health that are often ignored by educators and policymakers and decision makers. And as a result, women and girls often know little about the changes that they will experience as they advance through life. Another is they must have safe access to clean material to absorb this menstrual blood. These items must be acceptable to the individuals who need to use them. These products include disposable menstrual napkins, menstrual cups, sanitary towels, commonly known as pads, and any other clean absorbent fabrics that can be made to cater for the girls that cannot afford high quality menstrual products. There must also be a place for these girls to be able to change. This place must be safe and private, and they also need to have access to where they can dispose of these pads or where they can wash these reusable pads. And menstruating people must also be able to safely and privately wash with soap and water. Therefore, they need to have access to clean running water to be able to wash these reusable pads or take care of themselves. Another thing is, girls that cannot afford these pads should be taught how to make safe reusable menstrual pads, because in the long run, some of these girls in impoverished areas will not have access to high quality menstrual products often. So they need to be taught how to make safe reusable pads that they can keep using and keep washing. Yes. People usually look at menstruation as a taboo topic, and silence about menstruation can lead to ignorance and neglect, especially from policymakers. And this leaves women and girls vulnerable to things like period poverty and discrimination. And that is why, as the Model Peace Forum, we have come to you with this live. This is a very brief educational live on how period poverty is an important topic and how we should all make it a priority, as the Model Peace Forum is going to carry out an outreach program to provide high quality menstrual products to girls who cannot afford these products, and they will also be able to teach these girls how to make safe reusable pads, because in the long run this is more sustainable. So please stay tuned and put your post notifications on for more updates on this outreach program. If you want to take part, please let us know. And that is going to be it from me today. This is a very brief educational live. I will be taking questions from anyone who has questions. So please feel free. Okay, any questions? Nikki says, love this. Thank you, Lindsay. What can I do to contribute to spread awareness or start campaigns? Firstly, I feel like you need to educate yourself on period poverty to be more vast in the area and to be able to spread awareness. And then also please join Moda Peace Forum, as we will be carrying out an outreach program to provide these girls with high quality menstrual products, and also teach them how to make reusable pads, safe reusable pads. Anyone else? Okay. Guys, please don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions. Alright, I think that's it for today. It seems like people don't have questions. Thank you so much for attending today's live. We will be getting back to you on more information on this outreach program we are organizing. Have a great evening and have a restful weekend. Thank you.